In Leh and Kargil, different reasons to oppose Ladakh's current status. Ladakh MP Zyamang Tesing Nyavgal of the BJP declared in the Lok Sabha that the PM has understood the feelings of the people and has given region respect. He has given an address on the political aspirations, developmental spirit, and even recognized the contribution of the people from the region of Ladakh. When Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into two union territories on August 5, 2019, Ladakh was seen welcoming the reorganization. Its MP Zyamang Sesing Nyamagal of the BJP declared in the Lok Sabha that the PM has understood the feelings of the people and has given the region respect. He has given an address on the political aspirations, developmental spirit, and even recognized the contribution of the people from the region of Ladakh. As it turned out, the statement papered over Ladakh's concern and the different demands from its two districts, Leh and Kargil. These demands have come to the fore at different times over the last 2 years, but the government appears to be paying more attention to them now at the same time as it outreach to Jammu and Kashmir political leadership. Indications are that a committee under Minister of State for Home G. Kishan Reddy will seek to address these demands from Ladakh. The formation of such a committee had been announced back in January but has been in cold storage since. Leh and Kargil not alike. Of Ladakh's two districts, the August 2019 changes were immediately opposed by the people of Kargil, where the leaders of the majority Shia population demanded that the district should remain part of Jammu and Kashmir and that special status be restored to safeguard the rights of Kargil people from over their land and employment opportunities. The people of Kargil see themselves as a minority in Buddhist majority Ladakh. Opposition from Leh came later. A union territory for Ladakh has been a long-standing demand in Buddhist majority. Leh, which believed it was marginalized in the larger state of J&K, but what Leh leaders did not bargain for was the complete loss of legislative powers. Earlier, these two districts each sent 4 representatives to J&K legislature. After the charges, they were down to one legislature, their sole MP, with all powers vested in the Union Territory bureaucracy. Unlike the UT and J&K, Ladakh was a Union Territory without an assembly. What both Ladakh districts fear is that alienation of land, loss of identity, culture, language, and change in demography will follow their political disempowerment. Hill Development Councils. Leh and Kargil have separate autonomous hill development council set up under Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Councils Act 1997. However, AHDS have no legislative powers. The councils are elected and have executive powers over the allotment, use and occupation of land vested in them by the center and the powers to collect some local taxes such as parking fees, taxes on shops, etc. But the real powers are now wielded by the Union Territory Administration, which is seen as more remote than the erstwhile state government of J&K. Last year, as the 5-year term from the Leh Ladakh AHDC neared conclusion and elections were scheduled, a group calling itself the People's Movement for 6th Schedule, an umbrella of political parties and religious organizations, including all-powerful Leh-based Ladakh Buddhist Association, put forth its demand for an autonomous hill council under the 6th Schedule modeled on the lines of Bodoland Territorial Council in Assam. The 6th Schedule is a provision of Article 224 of the Constitution originally meant for creation of autonomous tribal region in Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. Hill councils under the provision have legislative powers. All political parties in Leh, including BJP, announced a boycott of AHDC Leh elections. They called off the boycott after a meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi, at which they were promised Six schedule-like protections elections were held at to the LHADC Leh, in which the BJP won a majority of the seats but fewer in the 2015 elections. Evolving demands. But with no progress on Leh's demand for six schedule protections, the Leh leadership, including former MP Thupsan Swang and former J&K Minister Chering Jorak Labruk, both earlier with the BJP, has now upped its demand. On June 24, as a delegation from J&K held talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi, lay leaders addressed a press conference at Thiksey Monastery asking for a union territory with an elected assembly. Meanwhile, a KDA delegation that held talks with MOS Reddy on July 1 demanded full statehood to Ladakh as well as restoration of special status with Article 35 and 370 of the Constitution. Asar Ali Karbal, the head of LAHDC Kargil, who led the delegation, said the issues discussed included protection for language, culture, land, and jobs, plus a long standing demand for a route between Kargil and Sikadu in territory under Pakistan Gilgit Baltistan. Thank you.